Zero property tax? Sounds like winning the lottery. But here's the catch. A bunch of states are trying to kill or cap property taxes, and the money for schools, roads, and firefighters doesn't magically respawn. If you're moving for free money, you might be trading your mortgage relief for pricier grocery runs and thinner public services. Stay with me. We're naming the states, showing who's pushing elimination, and where the bill actually lands, especially the Georgia plan that swaps property tax for higher sales tax. You'll know what to check before you pack a single box. States are dangling no property tax, like a Black Friday deal. So why are school boards and fire chiefs sweating through their polos? Here's the thing. Governors and legislators are pitching caps or full-on elimination to win you over. The short list we're watching: Texas, North Dakota, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Kansas, Iowa, Arkansas, Ohio, Florida, and Wyoming. The promise is clean. Your bill drops. Your house feels lighter. But property tax is the boring hero that keeps daily life running. It's steady. It doesn't crash when the economy sneezes. Pull it, and the backbone of local budgets bends fast. Let's break it down. Texas is flirting with radical elimination, using a giant surplus and more sales tax, on top of compressing school rates. North Dakota has a 2026 ballot measure that would wipe out property tax and backfill cities and schools with oil and gas money. Georgia's floating a swap for owner-occupied homes. Kill the property tax, raise and broaden sales tax to patch the hole. Different paths, same gamble. The bill reality check. Effective rates tell you why this is even on the table. Texas stings because school levies drive most of the pain. Georgia looks tame statewide, but some counties hand you four-figure annual hits. Pennsylvania sits among the priciest, and schools lean hard on property tax, so any change shakes classrooms first. That's why local officials are sweating through budget meetings. Caps are the diet soda of tax reform. They slow the gain, they don't change the recipe. Elimination? That's a full organ transplant. And transplants can reject, especially when the new organ is sales tax. Sales tax is the default replacement because it's easy to tweak and sounds fair. But here's the catch. It rides the business cycle, and it leans heavier on lower and middle incomes. When spending dips, so does the cash. Yet payroll is due on Friday, and the fire engine still needs brakes. So if property taxes drop to zero, whose money pays your school next year? Who patches the crater after the thaw? The answer isn't magic. It's a swap. You don't erase the cost. You relabel it as sales tax or a state backfill that depends on markets and politics. And if that swap turns your grocery run into a stealth mortgage payment, you'll feel it every single checkout beep. Let's start where that swap goes from theory to receipt. Georgia, zero tax on your house, but your Target run now funds the fire truck. How much pricier does your cart get? Here's the thing. Georgia floated a headline move to erase property taxes on owner-occupied homes and plug the hole with a higher state sales tax, maybe by taxing more stuff. It reads like instant relief for homeowners, especially with values jumping and bills climbing. But cities and schools don't run on vibes. They run on revenue that shows up on time, every year, without drama. Average effective rate statewide sits near 0.87%, which sounds fine until you hit a county where the annual bill clears $4,000. That's why the pitch landed. The swap works like this. Your primary home's property tax goes to zero. Then a statewide sales tax increase aims to refill every local budget, from the school bus diesel to the ladder truck tires. But here's the catch. Sales tax hits lower and middle-income households harder because they spend a bigger share of income on taxable goods. And when the economy coughs, retail spending dips. Collections shrink. Payroll still lands on Thursday. The Georgia Municipal Association and local districts flag the ugly parts. Revenue swings, delays between when sales happen and when cash arrives, and a mismatch where fast-growing counties need more right now, while the statewide pool moves slower. Let's do clean math. Say a homeowner saves $3,000. If a household spends $50,000 a year on taxable items, a 4% higher sales tax adds about $2,000. That still leaves $1,000 saved, but only if your spending looks like that and your county's needs match the state's check. If your taxable spend is $35,000, that same bump nets $1,400, shifting less of the load. If you're at $70,000, you're kicking in $2,800. It's not one size fits all. It's a moving target tied to your receipts. Renters? No property tax break. They just meet the higher sales tax at the register. Landlords may not pass along savings because there aren't any on primary home taxes, so rents don't have a reason to dip. Meanwhile, high-growth school districts face enrollment surges and construction costs while their replacement dollars swing with consumer moods. So the pain can slide from one annual invoice to every beep at checkout. The bill doesn't vanish. It follows you into the grocery aisle. If Georgia is the sales tax lab, Texas is the moonshot with a surplus and a smile. Let's see where the numbers stop being polite. 2 states say they can erase property taxes with oil money and budget tricks. Sounds heroic, until the spreadsheet cries. Here's the thing. Texas runs without an income tax, drops massive relief packages, and talks about compressing school M&O rates while leaning harder on sales taxes and the state surplus. North Dakota is teeing up a 2026 constitutional amendment to abolish property taxes and backfill cities, counties, and schools with revenue from oil and gas through a trust-style setup. On paper, it's clean. In practice, every line item in your town's budget starts asking who writes the next check. Property tax is boring but steady. Sales and severance taxes swing. When the economy softens or crude prices slide, those streams wobble. Local services can't yo-yo. You still need teachers on Monday, a staffed ambulance on Tuesday, and a plow after the storm. That's the tension baked in. Let's break Texas. School finance relies heavily on property taxes. Compression lowers the school rate with state money, while homestead tweaks sweeten homeowner bills. It works until appraisals jump and wipe out the relief. Then you're chasing moving targets. Values climb, rates compress, values climb again. If the surplus shrinks, the state backfill can tighten, and districts scramble mid-year with formulas that don't care about your electric bill. Now North Dakota. The pitch is an energy trust paying local bills. Norway vibes, but at a smaller scale. Winter roads chew through budgets. Stretching services across a low-density map spikes per capita costs. If oil prices drop, severance revenue dips. That's not theory. Commodity cycles do this. And when deposits into the fund slow, guaranteed, backfills start feeling more like best-case scenarios. So what happens when the boom cools? Do districts cut staff? Do counties pause road work? Or does the sales tax ratchet up later, spreading the hit to every register? It's like living on a roller coaster that the school calendar didn't sign up for. These moonshots land in fat years. In lean years, the bill comes back wearing a new hat, service cuts, deferred maintenance, new taxes with friendlier names. You don't eliminate the cost of government. You change who pays, when they pay, and how much whiplash they get. So if you're mapping a move to chase no property tax, you need a shield. You want to spot the swap early, before it shows up in your cart and your kid's classroom at the same time. Tax cuts aren't free. They're a swap. Kill the bill on your house, and it pops up on every receipt and inside every school budget meeting. Let that sink in. Before you move, vet the replacement. What's the sales tax rate? What's exempt? How big is the rainy day backstop? And what's the plan when a recession nukes consumer spending? Like this video, so the algorithm thinks I'm important. Subscribe because someday you'll want to escape. Would you live where property tax is zero but the checkout line pays for the fire truck? Comment Team Sales Tax or Team Local Millage.